Thomas Jefferson is quoted as saying something to the effect of every generation needs to have a revolution or the liberty of the country will go away. He's probably right, and we haven't had a revolution in much too long. We've seen some interesting things this week in regards to coronavirus lockdowns. Several demonstrations at state capitals have had interesting results. In Michigan, they went armed, carrying their rifles and pistols. Went inside, made their point. No one got hurt, no one got arrested. In California, they did not go armed. People got arrested for breaking the lockdown. It was an interesting dichotomy, huh? Oh, look, the Second Amendment works. Well, the people in Texas read the law and said, well, all right, according to the law, that bar can open, but they can't have any patrons. So they said, all right, then, we're going to go and we'll just be outside and we'll bring along our guns just to make sure no shenanigans happen. So the fascists there brought out their armored personnel vehicle that they'd gotten from the military. We knew it would happen when they started getting armored vehicles, and so we got the very fascistic cops driving up in an armored personnel vehicle and then advancing on these protesters who were doing nothing and not even threatening anyone. Our guns raised and like pansies, rather than just going up and asking them, all right, would you disperse? And then talking with them about the law quietly. No. Nobody making any threatening moves. But we were going to drive up in our armored personnel vehicle. And elsewhere in Texas, gal keeps her salon, her hair salon open, despite the lockdown order. It's a non-essential business, but she kept it open. And she goes to court, and the judge says, I won't impose a jail term on this if you will apologize for being mean to the community. Nobody was forcing anybody to go to her salon, so obviously her customers thought it was perfectly fine. Nobody was forcing anybody to interact with her. Nobody was forcing the employees to work there. The only force coming into this situation was somebody trying to put her in jail for it. Well, the Supreme Court overrode the jail term that the judge imposed when she wouldn't apologize. She said, I'm not going to apologize for wanting to earn some money and feed my kids. The governor paid the fine personally. the Supreme Court of Texas overruled the jail sentence, said it was out of bounds. In fact, the courts, there's been plenty of legal opinions that these lockdowns are completely against the law. And that's true. The laws are there for a quarantine. A quarantine law requires a finding of a medical reason and naming of specific people who have been diagnosed with a communicable disease. So, yeah, the general quarantine of healthy people is completely illegal in every jurisdiction. And there's a good reason for that. You're not supposed to interfere with people's free assembly and freedom of movement without due course of law. Every quarantine order can be challenged. You can go in with your own doctor and say, this doctor, did the test for it and showed that I don't have this communicable disease which I need to be quarantined for. Like any other court order, it can be challenged. But this broad quarantine of people who have done nothing wrong, completely illegal. Completely. We have fascists at all levels of the government, from the petty cop who stops at people for speeding to the you're seeing them with their true colors. The mayor of Chicago came out and said, "We're going to arrest you," while freeing actual criminals, people who have done violent crimes, from jail. Many of whom, there was a story, might be apocryphal. Guy got out of jail. For a robbery. Goes off. Does another robbery. Cops arrest him. Give him his walking papers. Court date. Goes off and does another robbery. Cops arrest him. Goes. The same guy got arrested 3 times in one day. And released each time. Barely slowed him down. Nuts. The flag does not deserve to be even at half-mast these days. It should be flown upside down to indicate that you are in distress. Fly your flag upside down. Signal your distress. Remember, come November, do not vote for any of these fascists. Because if they're willing to do this over these scare tactics, and we've seen come out that the model that they based these 2 million dead in the U.S. on is a hot pile of shit. Um, yeah, it's a stochastic model, but when you use the same seed, you're supposed to get the same result every time. I run MCMP models all the time, and I can give a seed, and it will give the same result. And in fact, that's one of the tests of the installation, is using a specific seeded, specific model and verifying that it has a specific result. And in fact, these are barosphere criticality models of various nuclides. And the test is, does it come out with exactly critical within the uh, within the error margin of error every time you run it, on every system you run it. And if it doesn't, then it's not, then there's something seriously wrong. Well, this epidemiological model, nowhere near, nowhere near the same results. If they run it in multi-threading, the results went all over the map. If they run it in single thread, the results are all over the map. Run to run, it does. It's just crazy. You set up, you use the database instead of the internal memory, and that changes the results, and those aren't repeatable. It's just a hot mess of a simulation, and it's just worthless. Not only that, but it's a garbage in, garbage out thing. And they've been feeding it garbage. You feed it garbage, you get garbage. And that's just the way it's going to work. But if you can't even if it's unreproducible, it's not even garbage out. So that's where we stand on that. We've got fascists in government control, in control of the health departments. We've got fascists in control of state health departments. We've got fascists all up and down the line. Notice who the fascists are in your area. Do not vote for them. We have fascists on both sides of Republican and Democrat divides. Don't vote for them. Do not give them a vote. Do not vote for the opposite party. If we find a third party that you agree with, I don't care what third party, if it's libertarian or if it's whatever.
Hi.
Because these people, our children, need to have a chance at freedom. And if we continue down the road we're going, they will not have freedom.
Yeah.
They will be in a 1984 style Big Brother state.
Yeah.
That looks at every single thing they do.
Yeah.
Outside of their home and inside it.
Yeah.
And decides whether that's within the law according to their fascism. And if they don't, if they overstep inside their own homes, outside their homes, they'll be visited by a jackbooted thug who will kill them in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it's going to be
What
if we don't stop it.
What are webs? What are webs?
What are thugs?
I don't know.
They're big, mean people. They're mean people who are willing to hit other people or shoot them if they're not doing what the thug wants them to do. And it doesn't matter if they're wearing a badge. If they're willing to do that, they're still a thug.
Policemen, they have badges on them to not kill anyone.
Well, the badge is there to show that they're official law enforcement.
Yeah.
And that they're given a pass in the law on many things, which is inappropriate, and they're given and they think it is their duty
What's that,
to step in where nobody is getting hurt and cause people to get hurt.
What is getting hurt mean?
You've been hurt. You remember falling down?
Yeah.
You got scratched. That's getting hurt. Well, there's other people who will punch people. Does mommy like getting punched by you?
No.
What? Yeah. That's getting hurt. That hurts people. But police will punch people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And the courts will let them do it with no problem. Most of the time. Police will shoot people. And the number of times that doesn't get taken care of, even when they're not following the law, is sadly few.
Yeah? What's a law?
A law is something where the people who are in charge, who rule, have made a decision and written it down. And then the judges take the writing and make rulings based on whether what happened fits what's in the law. And a lot of times they don't care whether the law is proper or not.
Oh.
All right. Say bye-bye, Kenneth.
Bye-bye.
Peace and joy, everyone.
Peace and joy.